Now admit it. Do you secretly really love it when the person who can do no wrong really messes up? People are glued to the TV whenever a political figure or a Hollywood star does something really disgraceful or illegal. Kids start snickering whenever the goody two-shoes in class gets in trouble. We all love it when the know-it-all is proven wrong. When others fail, especially others who we somehow perceive are better or smarter than us, when they fail, it makes us feel better about ourselves. It's not right, but it surely is. So today should be a day that we're thrilled because Jesus Christ, the Son of God, the Lord Almighty, fell flat on his face. The gospel tells us, and he could do no mighty work there. Somehow it doesn't make me feel any better. Because there are some people who are never supposed to fail. The people who watch over us, the people who take care of us, the people who are in charge are never supposed to fail. Jesus is supposed to be the one who I can always count on. He's supposed to be the one in whom I never have to worry about failing. And he could do no mighty work there. Surrounded by unbelievers. He could do no mighty work except lay his hands on a few sick people and heal them. It's really kind of frightening to think about Jesus failing. In fact, it would be really frightening if we didn't have the whole story. St. Paul helps us out there. He's one of the smart kids who was never wrong. And by the time he got to writing his second letter to the Corinthians, he had some things figured out. God, he tells us in 2 Corinthians, is made powerful in our weaknesses. It is exactly in that moment when we can do nothing that God will take care of everything. The people who surrounded Jesus did not perceive that they were in need of anything. What can this carpenter do for us? He's just my big brother. He's just that guy who lived down the street. That guy who, by the way, never got into trouble for anything. But I live in the real world. What can this guy do for me? Besides, he travels all over the countryside doing his thing, and he's never home anyway. What does he have that we need? Come on, Jesus. Prove it. Prove to us that you are worthy of us, that you are worthy of our admiration. Prove to us that you're not just another religious huckster that's here to get our money. So Jesus walks away. And he walks away not because they are right, although I'm sure that there were a number of them who thought that. He walks away because the people there were not seeking from him what he had to offer. They weren't asking for strength, they were demanding a show. They thought they had their own strength within them. Jesus came to earth for people who are weak. Jesus came to earth for people who need strength. There's certain things that I've learned in my ministry, and one of them is to avoid answering questions that nobody's asking. And another is to avoid offering anything that nobody wants, including advice. See, human beings can't be forced into taking what they don't perceive they need. They won't take something if they're not seeking it. That's what free will is, right? God gave us the ability and really the right to be just as stupid as we want to be. So if you are self-sufficient and have no need of help, then you're not ready for Jesus. If you have all the answers and you're the master of your own destiny, you're not ready for Jesus. It's only when you know that you are weak. It's only when you are sitting in the midst of failure and uncertainty that we become ready for Jesus. It's then that Jesus steps into our lives. It's then that he works miracles that we didn't even imagine. Jesus pronounces his verdict in the gospel: a prophet is not without honor except in his hometown and among his relatives and his own household. And then he moved on. And he let those who felt that they did not need him go on with their lives just the way they wanted to. And you know what? He didn't seem all that concerned, because he knew that the day was coming. The day would come when they did need him. He preserved his relationship with them and quietly walked away, knowing that they'd want him back eventually. Likewise, we too preserve the relationship. When we run into those people who don't need Jesus right now, we don't curse them and anathematize them and send them off with judgment out into the darkness. We smile and shrug and move on to someone who does need Jesus. And we know that the day comes for every single person when our abilities run dry, when our wisdom is not there for us. And if we have preserved the relationship, we have a shot at offering Jesus later. We have a shot at offering Jesus when that person is seeking him. And so then Jesus turns around after he left and he sends his disciples out into the villages to proclaim the gospel. And notice, please, that they were not sent out as amazing success stories. When Martin Luther died, it said that he had a little scrap of paper with him with these words written on it: "Beggars all are we." Just as people who believe they have no need for Jesus will not receive Jesus, so too those people will not receive Jesus from people who they feel are better than them, who have it all together. The disciples were to physically demonstrate their dependence on God, their complete dependence on God. He charged them to take nothing for their journey except a staff, no bread, no bag, no money in their belts, but to wear sandals and not put on 2 tunics. They were to show people that they depended completely on God and not on themselves. And Jesus warned them that some people would not receive them. Some people will not listen. When you enter a house, he says, stay there until you depart from there. Any place will not receive you, and they will not listen to you. When you leave, shake the dust that is on your feet as a testimony against them. Jesus modeled failure for us. He modeled failure so that we would know that being called a failure in this world is part of the deal. Because the miracles of God are dependent on people desiring him to work in their lives. And people often refuse God until all of their worldly wisdom dries up. You know, faith is just a crutch for weak people. I mean, religion is fine for people who need it. Science is factual. So I'll believe in what I can see, what I can test. Okay, it's fine. God will still be here when all of your earthly notions have failed you. We just have to be ready to deliver Jesus when that day comes. When that time is right. When the people who don't need God and have it all figured out suddenly need God. See, only people like us, people who are complete worldly failures, only people like us are in need of Jesus. Please rise as we confess our faith in the words of the Apostles' Creed.